Perfect. So, what's up, everyone? Today is Wednesday. It is June 18. In about 1 minute or 2 minutes, we're about to have a high impact news, which is FOMC. So, as of right now, I'm currently in three position. I have two position open with gold. We have a buy position, which is running very nice. We did end up hitting every single take profits. We do have a small runner where our stop loss plays at break even. Then we hedge fund, not hedge fund. We hedge the market. We end up taking a sell position, which we did end up hitting take profit 3, which is currently running at a 101.4 risk to reward. Very, very close to hit take profit 4, which we're very close about to hit. I would say about 10 points away. Or we're actually at that level. We just got to wait for price action to push a little bit lower. Yeah, so we're already at that level. This looks very, very nice. So we're currently in those positions, and I also have a position open up with US30, which I'm in a long position currently at entry. But with US30, I do have two entries. I'm going to show you guys the entry that I'm currently in with US30. I have an entry placed at 33.50. So this is my entry. 350. My stop loss is placed at 250. And then obviously we're going to take profits. Always going to be at a 1-1 or 1-3 risk to reward, which is going to be back above these highs over here, which is originally the take profit that I had from last night or from yesterday's trade. Well, if this one plays out, we're probably can hit at least a 1-5 risk to reward. So we're currently in this position. We have the FOMC, which is about to open up 30 seconds from now, which is nice. Hopefully this US30, we do see a big push towards the upside. That will be very, very nice. And then hopefully with gold, we're going to be winning in both sides. So we already won both sides already, meaning that we already hit every single take profit. So as you guys can see, I believe we already hit take profit 4, if I'm not lying, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, we did hit take profit 4. So we just hit TP4 we just hit TP4 right now for 80 pips. The news starts in 8 seconds. So let me just call this out very quick. TP4, 80 pips. Well, there goes the news. Let's see what happens. We're going to drop. Well, price action just opened up towards the upside, which is chilling, which is still cool. Oh, look, there we go. We're grabbing that aggressive push towards the upside. Let's see US30. Oh, US30 is having that push too. We're up nice with US30. We're up nice with gold. Well, there you go. We got stopped out of break even right now with our gold sells, which is fine. We did end up hitting take profit 4. Closed out very nice position. So on that trade, I did end up making $150, which is cool. We still have our buy position open. So actually, I'm going to secure more buys right here. I'm going to secure $230 bucks. Let me show you guys. I'm going to secure right now $230. Well, 250. Close that position. Still holding it. Stop loss place at break even. US30 is still running good. We're going to continue holding that. So let me just tell everyone. All right, runners out at break even. Solid trade. And then we're going to secure more. Secure more profits and continue holding. Just send this out here too. Secure more profits and continue holding. That was pretty cool. We end up taking, pretty much we hedged the market. We end up taking some buys and sells, which we made profits both sides. But I'm going to explain to you guys as well the reason why we were able to take out both of these positions. TP2 was hit right about time, so we did end up hitting at a 101.6 risk to reward. At least I made $150. If we would have dropped a little bit lower, we would have been made more. With this position here, I was up 400. I did end up closing now at $230 with one position, leaving $200 just running. So we're going to see how gold plays out. But as of right now, everything looks good. Let me give you guys the analysis on the gold setup that we end up taking this morning, which was these buy position, right? So going back to yesterday trades, everything is very, very similar, right? So we go into a higher time frame perspective, right? We can see that gold the past couple of days since the beginning of this week, which has basically been ranging above these H4 structures, right? If you guys go into a daily structure, you guys can clearly see how the daily candle has been closing the past couple of days, right? On Monday, we did have an aggressive sell-off coming back towards these H4 structure. And if you guys look at it from a higher time frame perspective, you guys can clearly see that we're still, building these higher highs and higher low structure, which still shows us that buyers are still in control in the markets, right? Now, obviously, we still haven't gotten the impulse move that we're expecting with the bullish move, but what I do really like is how price action just continues ranging above these H4 structure, which is one of the main key areas, right? So we're still trading above these H4 structures. You guys can see that there was a lot of weak volume towards the downside, showing us that sellers are not very much interested in, either breaking below these levels so that we can potentially push the price even lower. We're just still trading above these H4 structure, which still shows us, again, that buyers are still in control. Now, the only thing that really turns me off here with gold, obviously, is just going to be this range, right? We're ranging between an area of resistance and an area of support, which price action comes into resistance. We're seeing some sell-off. Prices are coming to these areas of support. We're seeing some bounce plays, right? So price action is just moving up and down. So we have our major resistance, which is going to be set somewhere between the 30, I would say 33.95 to the 3400, and then we have our major support, which is going to be at the 33.80, and then we also have, we can probably say 33.75, which is the zones where price action just continues taking off, right? Now, yesterday we did catch a very beautiful trade, which I give you guys the analysis, which was simply the sweep of these areas of demand and just maintain itself above these H4 structure, which was a beautiful trade. Yesterday we did enter a similar setup. This was not yesterday, this was actually today during the London session. We enter a very similar setup, right? So during the Asian session, we did see a very strong push towards the upside, coming back towards these areas of resistance again, right? Our areas of resistance, which price action just keeps rejecting, which is set at the 3900. We did see that price action obviously sold off from that point, coming back towards these areas of support. Now notice every time the price action is coming towards these areas of support, what are we seeing? We're seeing obviously some type of rejection. So we have rejection here, rejection. Overall price action just continued, ranging towards these upsides, right? Now yesterday we did see a push towards these areas of interest. Now obviously the only thing that I waited for was for price action to do this, right? So we go into the 1 minute time frame. The only thing that I waited for last night, if we go, let's go a little bit back. All right, so we go here into the 1 minute time frame on a lower time frame. We did see that, okay, price action, we did see a push towards this area of support, which is a very strong area of demand, right? We did see a very strong impulse towards the upside. So we have a rejection, push towards the upside, we got the pullback. The pullback aligns perfectly with the Fibonacci level, which is very simple, which is exactly how I look for my entries, right? So you place the highs from here to the lows over here. We can see that price action had a bounce, and especially respecting these lower time frame fair value gaps, right? So we were respecting these fair value gaps. As you guys can see, price action had a perfect rejection, perfect break to the upside. All I waited for was for price action to pull back once again to these zones, and that's exactly where I did enter my first entry. So my entry from yesterday was placed exactly at this candle, which was set at the 33.82. Now, obviously, towards the time, price action did end up, breaking towards the downside. I did end up cutting some losses whenever price action ended up taking under these lows over here. But notice how price action overall, we respected the major zone, which is going to be set at the 33.79 zones, right? So now what I did yesterday, we go back over here. I did have my stop loss placed underneath these lows over here. It looks better on the my bad. It looks better on a higher time frame. I did place my stop loss under these lows over here, which, as you guys can see, we did respect these areas of demand. We did see the impulse move towards the upside, what we were anticipating. We did end up hitting take profit 3 for 60 pips, which is usually where we like to go break even, but I was not active at that time. I personally end up taking this loss, so I end up losing 100. End up losing on this trade here today. I end up losing $145 worth 80 cents. I did have my stop loss placed at 60 pips, and then notice during the New York session how price action once again we respected this area of support, and we did see a very strong impulse towards the upside with the same exact trade that we had open from the London session. So if we would have probably moved our stop loss a little bit lower, maybe 70 pips, we would have definitely hit at a 1 or 2 risk to reward over 160 pips, right? But again, I believe this trade over here was just a wick down. Very simple. Notice how price just works out and just perfectly just breaks towards the upside. Now, in today's buy position that we end up taking this New York session, very similar trade. All I waited for was for price action to once again come back towards this area of demand, have a rejection. If you guys notice this 5 minute candle, look how we perfectly swept out of these lows over here, which was created during the London session. Price session perfectly swept towards it, and we actually maintained itself above. So the way that I entered this trade was very simple. Once we got this candle breaking underneath these lows, all I waited for was for price sessions to start having the shift of structure, which is obviously wait for the 5 minute candle to close under, or not close under, to close above these areas of interest with a very nice wick rejection towards sweeping all of these lows over here. Go down to a lower time frame and start waiting for price action to start having, that break of structure towards the upside. That's exactly what price action did. We swept out of these lows. We started creating new bullish move towards the upside, waiting for that lower, that minor pullback, and that's exactly where I did enter my position. which was set at the 33.76. So very simple. We just came here, we tested these demand zone, waited for price action to have a break of structure towards the upside, and then for obviously price action to be trading above these areas of demand. If obviously price action would have broken even lower and started trading underneath these zones, I would have not taken these buys, and we'll probably would be looking for another type of setup. But perfect rejection towards these demand zone, perfect break of structure towards the upside, come back, pull back towards these areas. This was a minor pullback, and that's exactly where I did enter my position at. So my position was taken at 33.76. We're just letting this trade do its thing, and as you guys can see, we might be getting that push very, very soon. Hopefully we'll get that push that we're anticipating. But overall, this trade looks very, very nice. Sell position that we took this morning, very similar sell position to the other ones. It's just simply coming to these areas of resistance, which price action just continues rejecting off, right? I would say these areas are very strong levels of supply zones, which every time that price action are coming back towards these zones, we are seeing a type of rejection, right? Now, for us to continue pushing even higher with gold here, which at the moment you guys can see we're pushing. I'm actually up right now $280 with this trade. Beautiful trade. But definitely waiting for price action to break out of these zones. And we do have a breakout above the 3400 and a candle closure. I believe we can definitely push even higher, and we can definitely hit our final take profit, which is going to be set at the 34.15. Actually, its profit is 34.20. This is my overall profit. But yeah, so as we speak, I'm up 280 still. Moving very nice. But everything so far looks good. I just don't like, obviously, how we're still trading beneath these ranges, which is obviously a turnoff. We don't want to be trading in the range. Hopefully, we do get a breakout earlier today. We do have another news at 2:30. FOMC news still have at 2:30. So let's see how this one's actually opened up. Well, they expected what came out pretty similar to the previous one. They expected was the same exact. So there was not really big changes at all. I remember, I don't know if you guys noticed, but last year all the news were crazy. You have FOMC, you have CPI, you have NFP. They will move 100+ pips. Nowadays, this is pretty much what we catch now in the news. Very small moves, but obviously we don't want to be trading the news overall. But I remember back then we used to have those very strong impulse move towards the upside. So moving forward to US 30. US 30, I'm currently at entry right now. I'm out down 400, or my bad, not 400. I'm down $60 with one position and $150 with another position. So still holding it. We're still at entry with one of my positions, so we're not going to be closing out this trade at all. The only thing that really turns me off is just how price action just continues rejecting off these supply zones, right? Which is the same exact reason why we took those buy position yesterday, right? So very simple. We have a reaction towards these demand zone, which is going to be set at the 42. I'm saying 42,200. If we look at it from a higher time frame perspective, you guys can see that these demand zones over here, price action continues maintaining itself above, right? Which is ideal, what we really want. We go into the 1 hour time frame, we can see that 1 hour time frame, we did see the push towards the downside over here yesterday during the Asian session. We did see the break towards the upside. We did get another pullback, which we did see that price action did manage to maintain itself above, right? Now, yesterday we did obviously have a fake out break underneath these demand zones over here, but notice how whenever price action came back to retest these zones over here, price action overall failed, did not hold these zones underneath, which obviously price action started breaking back above. We got the pullback. We did see that price action retested this demand zone, again building that buyer foundation. So going into a little bit earlier during the New York session, once price action had a rejection towards these demand zone, we did see some lower time frame break of structure, which could have definitely been one of the entries that I would have taken. But this is happened during the times that I don't trade, right? I usually like to execute my trades around 10 o'clock. I was not active this morning at 10 o'clock due to the fact that I had to go somewhere earlier this morning. So I started trading a little bit later today. It was probably 10:30, almost 11 a.m. I started trading, but I was not active specifically at the 10 a.m. candle. So that kind of sucks because we did get the entry that I really wanted, which was simply breakouts out of these levels, which price action just continues, consolidating at. So for example, could have been 2 entries that we could have taken today. We have a rejection of a major demand zone, right? If you guys take a look at these left sides over here, what do we have? We have all of these New York highs, right? We did see that price action broke above all of these New York highs. We got the pullback towards these zones. We're seeing that price action maintain itself above these areas. We have rejection from major demands. Break above all of these highs over here. Price action is now trading above. I could have gotten 2 perfect entries. One of my entries could have been taken right over here. Whenever we close above, stop loss could have been placed underneath these lows over here, and then we could have definitely target at a 1 to 3 risk to reward. This setup over here would have probably ran for over a 1 and 2 before getting stopped at a break even, but that could have been definitely a play that we would have taken this morning. So as of right now, the only play that we are taking as of right now, the only reason why I end up taking these buy position, similar setup, but obviously from a higher time frame perspective. So again, we have rejection towards these strong areas of demand. We go into a 4-hour time frame. We do have a very nice 4-hour candle closure towards the upside. All I waited for was for price action to come back and retest these 4-hour broken structure, which at that time we were trading above. Obviously, since we do have the news price action just going everywhere, we're very crazy about it. But we came back and retested the same exact zones back to back, which as you guys can see, price action is just rejecting. We have the rejection towards the VWAP, and now over here we're just gonna let the trade do its thing. Simple break and retest setup. We break above these zones over here, just come back, retest, and that's exactly what we're gonna enter. Very similar setup to what we took yesterday. So this is actually one of my entry confirmations. So let's put this green, or let's put them in dark color. Let's put them gray. So these are the confirmations only. This is exactly where I end up taking these buys. Perfect. Now, like I was saying, the only thing that really turns me off is just how price action, if we look at it from a higher time frame perspective, how we're still trading underneath these intraday structure, which is set at the 42,550, right? So 42,550 is the only thing that really turns me off, due to the fact that last week, we did see a very strong impulse break towards the downside, which price action did get the pullback retested toward these zone a few times, which obviously we did see some bearish reaction from it, right? Which was recently the 2 sells that we took from Friday, the sell that we took on Monday as well. Price action just continues trading underneath. We did see the pullback towards that zone yesterday, which again, as you guys can see, price action rejected it. We did close underneath. We did see some bearish action yesterday. Now this morning, we have the rejection towards these demand. But again, price action, it just continues doing the same thing. We did reject, again, these areas of supply, which we did see a minor supply or minor bearish action towards the downside. Now, the only reason why I continue holding this structure is because, again, if you guys look at it from a 1-hour time frame, notice how the structure, or there's no very clear bearish structure just yet. We're still holding above these demand, which forms these highs, higher lows, higher highs, and then we have these higher lows. If we would have broken underneath these lows over here, then this is exactly where I wouldn't be taking my buy position no more, and then I would just step out of the market and just see how price action overall remains, right? But again, we're still trading above these New York highs, which is ideally, or this was actually the London highs. We're still trading above these London highs, which price action is respecting, so that is the idea. As of right now, we're still at entry with this position, but again, I'm still going to be holding it. If it continues breaking underneath these lows over here, then obviously I'm going to be out of this trade. But overall, I do like it. I just don't like the fact that this is the only thing I really don't like, that we just keep disrespecting the supply. That's the only thing I don't like. But overall, we do like this setup. So let's see how it plays out. Currently up right now, $230 with these gold buys. Hopefully this 9:30 we do have even a bigger push. So we're just gonna have to wait as of right now. So let's see. Let's see what's gonna happen here. We're about to go to the other FOMC, well, the 231, which starts very soon. Very soon. Less than 4 minutes. So let's see. Hopefully that one we do see an initial push towards the upside. Come on, US30. US30, as of right now, I am up. Well, I'm down $20. That's funny. I was up $2. Now I'm down $25. Just a game of patience. So let's see. Alright, so it is 2:30 already. Did not get the push or the volatility that I was expecting for this FOMC news. But definitely going to be holding this position throughout the day. Hopefully we do not get stopped at a break even with gold. I do like that we did end up securing over $230 at a 1 to 2 risk to reward. We're still leaving the other $200 running risk free, but everything looks perfect. If we do manage to break above these 34,400 or 3400 level, I'm definitely going to be moving my stop loss somewhere between these zones. Maybe the 3390, I'm going to be moving my stop loss into profit. So just trading my stop loss, and probably going to be adding another entry during the London session or during the Asian session. Looking at US30, hopefully we get the push. Well, there you go. We're finally getting that push that we are anticipating. We are respecting these 30-minute, this intraday structure, which is the idea, which is exactly where we did end up taking this trade. It's running nice. So far, running nice. Let's see. I'm up right now. Total profit, I have one position which is down $20, and I have another position which is up $70. Well, now we're in profit with every single trade. So I don't know if you guys are able to see this, but these are the positions that we do have open right now. So we're probably gonna leave this trade running. Definitely gonna be moving my stop loss to break even if we do hit take profit one with US30. I'm gonna be closing out the first position, which is at 42,500. If it hits TP1, I'm gonna be closing that one at 50 points, leaving the other one running at 150 points, which is gonna give us a solid RR for the day. But let's see. Hopefully we get those push that we are anticipating. All right, so I'm back less than 10 minutes. As you just saw, US30 having that push that we were looking for. Currently up in total profit $300 so far. One of the position with US30 is up $100. The other one is up $20. Hopefully we continue holding this volume with US30 and we get that push that we're looking for. But now I'm gonna be out of the market. I'm just gonna continue with the day and I'll update you guys exactly how this setup plays out. So we're back again. I just hopped off. I got the alarm on my phone. We did end up hitting stop loss with US30, which is unfortunately end up having two positions. I had one at 42,400 and I had another one at 42,350. The average loss between both of these positions was at $240, which puts me at negative $500 for the day with US30. Now this position over here, I do like it and I will continue taking the same exact setup over and over again. The reason why is pretty much I got everything that I always look for, right? Which is one, rejection from a major zone. It can either be a supply zone or a demand zone, right? So if we go back into a higher time frame, going back to the same exact breakdown, we have the same exact reaction from this exact demand zone. We come back, we are seeing bounce plays, and bounce plays. We come back to current price action. Price action is currently retesting at the zone, which we're still trading above it from these demand zone, which is still good. A good sign of potential bullish, but there is no confirmation for us to re-enter this position. So this morning, all I waited for, again, we're going back to the breakdown, waited for price action to have a shift of structure from this previous structure, right? Notice how we're still trading underneath one of these intraday structure, which is going to be set at the 42,500, 42,600, which we did see the price action pulled back. We did see some type of seller opportunities, right? Yesterday, we got a reaction from this demand zone. We got the break of structure above the zone, which is exactly where we did manage to enter our first buys, which as you guys can see, we did reacted off the supply, which price formed a new supply, seeing a bearish reaction, right? This morning, we come back towards these demand. We have the break of structure pulling back. We did see that this demand here hold very nice. We did see a very nice bullish reaction towards the upside. We're coming back towards the supply, which price action had a minor retracement to come back and retest these all broken structure, which was the entry confirmation for us, or not the entry confirmation, but the areas that we were looking to take our entry, right? Notice how we bounced off from these zones multiple times, which is exactly where I did manage to enter off my trade. But one of the things that we were looking at, if you guys go into a higher time frame, that we're still trading underneath these intraday structure, which make this trade risky, obviously, because we're still trading underneath these intraday structure from a higher time frame, which ideally, if we want to be trading whenever we're looking for a bulls run, in this case over here, the idea will always be better to trade above these zones over here so that we can grab a higher probability. But again, since we are trading underneath, we are still reacting from a demand zone. We're just looking for these type of, I would like to say, switch a structure, break a structure, or change of character type of setup, which is just simply waiting for price action to have the shift of structure, which is exactly what we've been taking from yesterday and the one from this morning as well. But again, it is a game of probability. We did manage our risk perfectly. I was looking to risk that same exact amount to make over $1,000 with one position, and the other one would have been over $800, which would have been great. Would have been great risk to reward, but again, it is what it is. We're gonna move on to the next one. As of right now, I'm gonna be active still with indices. I'm just gonna be waiting to see how price action reacts above these demand zone, right? So we continue rejecting it. I'm gonna be waiting for a new price action to form on a lower time frame. Most likely, I'm gonna wait to see how price reacts around these zones over here. If we start breaking back above the 42,300, and that's exactly where I like to probably execute another second opportunity, but as long as price action respect this demand zone. If we start breaking underneath, I'm going to call it a day, and I'm going to be waiting for a new setup tomorrow. Going into the gold setup, we did get stopped at a break even with our buy position. Again, notice how price action just continues reacting off this demand zone, right? Our sell position from earlier today would have been out very, very nice, would have definitely hit our final take profit for a 1 to 3 risk to reward. But we got stopped at a break even earlier during the FOMC news, which is cool. I did manage to secure $230 with this position here with gold. This position over here, I did manage to secure $150. But overall for the day, I am currently down $275 for the day. So I did end up the day negative, unfortunately, especially with this US30 position. But it is what it is. We're gonna come back tomorrow. I'm still gonna be active for this New York session for a few more hours. Not a few more hours, for a few more minutes, since the market's already coming to an end. But I definitely want to see if US30 respect this, so I can probably re-enter, just continue holding it throughout the day. But But you guys can see this, we are having that rejection. I'm just going to be waiting to see if we're able to re-enter. 42,300 will be the idea. And then we have our stops underneath these lows. And then target the same exact zones. But let's see. And then gold, it just continues dropping off. But notice how, again, it's just similar thing. We're just bouncing off from supply, bouncing off from demand. But let's see. This was a very sharp drop towards the downside. That sell would have been very nice. This sell over here would have made me at least, I would say, almost $1,000 with this trade here. This would have been a beautiful setup. Damn, that really sucks. But again, it is what it is, guys. So I'm gonna call it so far a day with this video. I'm gonna be active. I will let you guys know if I do enter another position. But definitely, most likely, I'm gonna call it a day as of right now. So I'm gonna post this. Hope you guys enjoy. Hope you guys found out some value in this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.